Today I'm going to take you on an end-to-end walk down the historic Calle de Toledo, Toledo Street in Madrid, Spain, starting at the famed Plaza Mayor and ending at the Manzanares River, the Rio Manzanares, crossing over it on the Puente de Toledo, Toledo Bridge. Along the way, I'll take you to see Madrid's former cathedral, also a solemn nighttime procession. Next, we'll visit a historic candy shop, Caramelos PACO, where I'll buy some candy. We'll see some beautiful old buildings with glass balconies. We'll also see fountains. We'll see statues. We'll dine at a great little local place for octopus and garlic shrimp. We'll then stop at an old-style bar for a cold beer and some spicy snails at a place called Los Caracoles, the Snails. We'll pass by the grand Toledo GATE, the Puerta de Toledo, and finally cross over the Manzanares River on the Baroque-style Puente de Toledo, the Toledo Bridge. Come along, won't you? Welcome to historic Plaza Mayor in Madrid, Spain. That's the King Philip III statue and the Casa de la Panaderia with the frescoes on its facade. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Plaza Mayor was inaugurated in 1619, but this current one is from the mid-19th century after three major fires. There's the arch looking down the Calle de Toledo. On this side, we have the Casa de la Carniceria. So this is the old butcher shop building from years and years ago. It's a beautiful day here in Madrid. You can see the terraces to the right and to the left. As I mentioned, that's the Calle de Toledo, the arch leading down towards the Calle de Toledo. Downhill, downhill, downhill. You can see the two towers of the San Isidro Church, which holds the remains of San Isidro Labrador, which is Madrid's patron saint, and his wife, Santa Maria de la Cabeza. As I said, it was a beautiful day. It was a rare, non-raining day, because here in Madrid we've had 2 weeks straight of rain, and this was the one day it hadn't rained. So this is the Calle de Toledo, as I mentioned. It's pedestrian now, but I believe that when I first visited Madrid in 1995, they had traffic, at least delivery traffic at the very least, going up the street. I don't think it ever had traffic going into the Plaza Mayor, or at least not in my lifetime, or at least not as long as I've been visiting Madrid. I've been here now for 20 years, living here almost 20 years. So this is a very picturesque part of Madrid. You've got the balconies, you have the arcades on either side, you have the terrace bars, you have souvenir shops, of course, you have a new-ish flamenco tablao along the street here on the right-hand side. The terrace bars, as I mentioned, it's a little too cool, I suppose, to be sitting outside, but some of those places, as you can see, they have the furnaces for people to sit outside if they want to. On the left, we have La Casa del Abuelo. So this is the third or fourth in Madrid. They specialize in the garlic shrimp. Very delicious, very, very delicious. Oh, there's a couple bold people with their glasses of wine on the terrace of La Casa del Abuelo. Okay, so in some of this video, I'm going 2 times speed, and in other points, 5 times speed, because it can get a little tedious, I guess. Five Guys on the corner, that's an American hamburger shop chain. I've never been, and I don't plan to be, because it's not my thing. There's the arch looking back from the other side. So we're going to be going downhill in the direction of the Manzanares River, okay? We're going to finish up at the Manzanares River and the Puente de Toledo, the Toledo Bridge. So here we're going at about 2 times speed. So you hear people squawking along. You can't hear them clearly because the speed is at 2 times. We're coming up on the intersection where actually we're about to turn to the right, looking towards okay, we're turning back. Now we're going, this street, because it's very narrow. The sidewalk is very narrow. It's always full of tourists and people. So look off into the distance. I'm going to zoom in. On the left, we have the Almudena Cathedral, the dome of the Almudena Cathedral. And on the right, you have the two towers of the San Miguel Church. I highly recommend a visit to the San Miguel Church. Very nice. Very unusual. Very unusual. A Dia supermarket. That's a French supermarket chain. They're all over Madrid. I think they're all over Spain. There are a lot of them in Madrid. Trying to get through the tourists. This is a very... I knew that would wake you up. I should have warned you about that. Yeah, there was a couple cars beeping. Oh, here is the nighttime procession of Jesus de los Pobres. This was taking place right in front of the San Isidro Church. You can just see the clouds of incense off to the right. There you have them. And I was there for about 15-20 minutes or so, and then they went into the San Isidro Church. There's the San Isidro Church facade, and there you see the statues of San Isidro Labrador on the left and Santa Maria de la Cabeza, his wife, on the right. So I changed sides of the street so we can get a better look. We're walking down. There we have it. We have the two towers, and now you can clearly see they have them illuminated. That's nice. They have the statues of San Isidro Labrador, Madrid's patron saint, and his wife, Santa Maria de la Cabeza, on the right. Okay. Very nice. So this was the San Isidro Church. This was the provisional cathedral for Madrid until the Almudena Cathedral was deemed an official cathedral because it had been under construction for decades and decades. In 1993 or 1993, I believe. When was that? 1993. This is San Bruno. This is a bar that I really like. It's near downtown. There's a picture of the painting on the wall of the Plaza Mayor. This is one of my favorite near downtown bars. It's not touristy. Some tourists go in, but it's not that touristy. And they have good food. It's an old-fashioned bar. Good tapas too. Good tapas. I recommend it. Zapateria, a shoe shop. Okay. Alrighty. Looking back, trying to avoid people, lots of cars. Okay, we're coming up here right in front of a bar restaurant called Bar Cantalejo. This is one of two Cantalejo bars, and they're very good traditional Spanish bars. This being very near, this one is a little more touristy, plus you have the terrace outside where tourists sit, but it's quite spacious inside, and it's more of a local bar, just like the San Bruno bar that I mentioned. You can see that not a lot of people are sitting outside because it was just a bit too cool for that, I believe. The una corseteria, where they make and they sell corsets. I thought that was interesting. I'd never seen one of those before. Ooh, Caramelos PACO. So that's the Paco. Hi. You waved to me. So we're about to see Caramelos PACO. This is a very historic candy shop. It's their theme is making life sweet since 1934. We're gonna go inside. You can see the facade filled with candies. The Las Violetas, which is a traditional Madrid candy sweet, with my buddy Rafa. This was the first time I'd ever been in this place, and it is famous. So it's from this particular establishment that the Three Wise Men parades on the 6th of, actually they're on the 5th, on the 5th of January for the Magic King's Day, which is on the 6th. They have the parade, and the Three Wise Men, they throw candy out to the children or whoever's gathering them, and they almost always come from this particular place, Caramelos PACO. Place is famous. So they have the chocolate cigars. I thought that was interesting. Chocolate cigars for sale. They also have candy hot dogs. They have there's my sorry, there's my purchase right there. So I bought some menthol and I bought some licorice candies, wrapped candies, individually wrapped candies. La Latina Metro Station, right there, green line. This was an old church that was converted into, at least partially, into a business of some sort. And this building, just above, is one of my favorites too. It's very pretty, very pretty. Okay. So we're still on the Calle de Toledo. This is all Calle de Toledo, folks. In the distance, you can see El Mercado de la Cebada. So the barley market with the domed, colored roof, and this, I want to call it a monstrosity, but I guess it's not. It's all, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Teatro La Latina. So they house. This is an old theater, and they have shows. They have musicals. They have other dramatic theater. This place on the right is a sports complex, a sports center, and just through the glass windows on the right, they have a very large swimming pool, and you can actually look through the window and watch people swimming. I thought that was interesting, but I wasn't about to record that. Okay, looking back, that's the pretty building on the corner that I mentioned. Another Dia supermarket, and right next to it a Carrefour supermarket. Both French supermarket chains, one next to the other. Lots of competition here in Madrid. So that street is Calle de la Ruda, and at the end of that street, on the right-hand side, there's a very historic restaurant called Restaurante Malacatín. It says Best Cocido in Madrid. So they say. Best Cocido in Madrid since 1895. This is a picture of my wife's delicious cocido madrileño. And it has chickpeas or garbanzos, it has potatoes, it has carrots, it has chorizo, it has chicken, and it has beef. That's what she puts in. There's some other ingredients. Other families put different ingredients or additional ingredients, but we put just the ingredients in that we like. So maybe it's not a complete cocido madrileño according to some, but it's how we like to make it. And every family makes it a little bit differently. Okay, continuing down. Oh, and that's the second course, actually, in the cocido madrileño. The cocido completo, that's the second course. But the first course is a noodle soup made with the broth of the pressure-cooked vegetables with the meats. So you just have the broth with the noodles first for the first course, and then the second course is the heavy stuff, right? The garbanzo beans, the chorizo, and the potatoes, and the meats. It's just delicious. My wife makes a very, very nice cocido madrileño. This building is just beautiful with its corteza y miga, so that's a panaderia, that's a bakery. But this building here with the glass enclosed balconies is really incredible, really incredible. Just, I wonder if that surely an old building like that has an elevator, but a lot of old buildings didn't originally have elevators. They had to add them to the central or interior patio if it had an interior patio, and most buildings do. There's another Carrefour supermarket, my goodness. There's a lot of competition for supermarkets here in Madrid. La Fuentecilla. This is a fantastic little plaza with an old fountain. La Fuentecilla means the little fountain, inaugurated in 1815 to commemorate the return of King Ferdinand VII after his exile to France while Napoleon's France took Spain's throne for 5 years. Okay, so he was infamous, Ferdinand VII, because he kind of helped Napoleon take over Spain for those 5 years, and the fábrica de patatas fritas. So this is they call it a factory of potato chips. So they make their own potato chips. El Cisne, very nice. Anyway, so Fernando VII, was exiled to France for 5 years. He lived in high style, trust me, while Napoleon's brother José Bonaparte took the throne in Spain. the La Fuentecilla, and on, well, I just mentioned, yes. So there's a commemoration plaque on the front mentioning just that, the Ferdinand VII. This was dedicated to commemorate the return of Ferdinand VII. And I wonder if this particular fountain actually works. I didn't try it, but there was some trash down in the areas down below, and I thought, well, maybe not. Ah, you heard that noise. So this was a shop owner behind me closing its metal gates down to the floor, down to the ground. I had a friend who lived down the street, downhill, and so she was English from Liverpool, in fact, and she had a flat just near there, and apparently she walked past La Fuentecilla every day. That must be really nice. This is still considered city center, but this is not touristic city center. Okay, this is outside. This is the La Latina district, by the way, La Latina district, and not many tourists venture this far out. Okay, we have some dragons there down below. You have the lion with its paws on two planets, I guess, up there. Shoko. So Shoko is it's not a nightclub, but they show concerts. They have concerts and other musicals. They have a fruit stand here, and oh boy, I can't wait. To the right, across the street, one of my favorite places in all Madrid. Restaurante, Bar, Sidreria, Abiseo. So this is an Asturian bar, and this is where we had dinner. We're going to go upstairs. I'm going to go fast because it's kind of noisy, and I couldn't really show anybody's face too much, so I wanted to go really quickly. We went upstairs. We were the only people there. We took a seat with my buddy Rafa from Vallecas. Okay, we're going to sit down, take another little view really quickly. And it's a very old-fashioned, very, very local establishment. Here we have the famous Pulpo a la Gallega. So it has paprika and salt covering, and olive oil covering these slices of tentacles. And we have the garlic shrimp. Oh, so delicious. So delicious. You dip your bread in there, you get it all nice and soaked. Pulperia Cocina Asturiana. So it's an Asturian place, although they have Galician food. Okay. In fact, we asked for Ribeiro, which is a Galician wine, which usually goes with Galician pulpo, Galician octopus, but he said, no, we don't serve Ribeiro here. Kind of indignant. Okay, so right here we have the Parroquia de la Virgen de la Paloma. So there was a gas explosion here in 2021, and 4 people were killed. It's a school, and it happened at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't recall if school was in session or if it was a weekend. That I don't recall. But there you can see the tower of the church in the back part. So that's the more historic part, where they have the procession on the 15th of May, 15th of August, 15th of August, across the street, Cervecería Los Caracoles. So this Los Caracoles means the snails. So this is the facade, this is the indoors, this is their big pot with the snails close up, and they're surprisingly delicious with paprika, a little spicy, quite good. Very local place, very, very local place. When I was there, by the time I left, the place was full, and I'm sure I was the only non-Spaniard there, which makes me feel good. Then I know this is an authentic local place. All right, we are reaching the Puerta de Toledo, the Toledo GATE. So this was one of the last city gate of the walled city, erected, built between 1813 and 1827. All right. That's an old fire station right there, an old fire station. I think it's the oldest fire station remaining in downtown Madrid. It has a plaque commemorating Fernando VII. Okay. I believe it says in the placard, it says this commemorates Fernando VII returning the city of Madrid to its people after he returned from exile in France. That he gave Spain to the French. So, all right. So this is like there's a university. This is right behind me. It's a university. I'm going to go kind of quickly through here because it's just looking at the Puerta de Toledo from different angles. So I'm going to go a little, I don't know what was going on. The police were zipping by. So I'm going to go by quickly here. Let me take a quick look. This street goes down towards Embajadores and towards El Rastro, the bottom part of El Rastro, the big Madrid flea market. I highly recommend it. But you have to know what you're getting into because you're going to be shoulder to shoulder with a lot of people. It's every Sunday. Okay. Puerta de Toledo. Taxis, cars zipping by, terraces, a few bold people, brave people sitting outside. There's a public toilet right there with the door open. More police zipping by. And in a moment, I'm going to cross the street to get a better angle of the Puerta de Toledo, the Great Toledo Gate, to show you how it was in the mid-1800s. So, it's been standing for, as I said, like 150 years. But, there's the photo right there. So you can see there are buildings on either side. So this was a real city gate. You couldn't go around the gate. You had to go through the gate. And you could see the doors in the photo that would close at a certain time. There's the public toilet. Again, with the door closed, so presumably somebody is inside. Okay, we're going to walk down. I'm going to speed the video up here. This is probably the prettiest building in the whole street. Maybe the oldest building as well. It's a beautifully decorated brick building with a weather vane on the top. Very pretty. I knew somebody, in fact, who lived there, and I went up to his place once because he was giving me some gazpacho. He made some gazpacho, so I went up to his flat. Look at this. This is a Bon Aria, a supermarket. I've never seen this supermarket chain before, but any supermarket that has hanging hams in it is a friend of mine. Sounds like a Formula One race going on. A lottery shop right there. We're gonna go really fast. Now we're going at 5 times normal speed. Those are some modern buildings. I believe those were built in the early 90s, I believe 1990 or so. So this whole area is brand new, essentially, and very expensive to live in. So the El Rincón de El Bierzo. I've had a couple meals there. It's a nice traditional bar restaurant. I recommend it. It's nice. It's big. It's big too. We've got a terrace. This whole area, as I mentioned, used to be nothing but factories, and they just leveled the factories and they built these buildings, and they're all quite nice and generally speaking spacious. And now they're quite expensive because it's a very desirable area in which to live. Pharmacies. So we're getting to the river. There's another beer station, cerveceria, beer place. Going very, very quickly. We're going at 5 times normal speed. To get to the river, we're almost there. We're reaching the Glorieta de las Pirámides. So this is a very busy traffic circle, especially the 2 obelisks were erected in 1831, and that's the Puente de Toledo, the Toledo Bridge, built in 1732 by Pedro de Rivera in the Baroque style. And you know what they say, if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. Sorry, couldn't resist. It's a beautiful old bridge. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 2 obelisks, so they call it La Glorieta de las Pirámides. So the traffic circle of the pyramids. they're not pyramids, obviously. They're obelisks, but they call them the pyramids. So we had a beautiful sunset here with the sun passing through, the sun setting under the clouds. Very pretty. Cars zipping by. And at rush hour, as I mentioned, just behind me is the tunnel, the M30 tunnel coming out. And this becomes incredibly congested at rush hour. Well, in the morning, but also in the afternoon when people are returning home. Or on a Sunday afternoon, there's the Puerta de Toledo uphill. When people are coming home on a Sunday after a weekend out, that intersection, this Glorieta traffic circle, can be very, very busy. Here we are in the Puente de Toledo, the Toledo Bridge. Very pretty, very, very pretty, very old cobblestones crossing over it. And you have these beautiful old fountains. Let's listen to the trickling water. How relaxing. So very relaxing. It says agua no potable. So this is not drinkable water. It's only for show. With the sunset illuminating the side of the bridge. Oh, it's so nice. With the footpaths, passing, crossing, passing under the bridge, passing under the bridge, passing under the bridge. People taking a stroll, taking their dogs out for a walk. And just down that way used to be the old Atlético de Madrid stadium, the Vicente Calderón Stadium, which is no more. Now they moved it to the semi-outskirts. So the river, the floodplain that passes under the bridge has been very, very nicely constructed or reconstructed, because under this bridge used to pass the above ground M30 highway. So they have since put them underground in tunnels, and so now this is a very lovely green space for walkers, for bikers, for skaters, for dog walkers, children playing, etc., etc. It's very nice, very, very nice, and it's so quiet. It's such a nice quiet area. Between the Glorieta de las Pirámides and on the other side of the bridge is the Glorieta de Marqués de Vadillo, which is the traffic circle right in front of Carabanchel district. This mature gentleman just picked up his presumably his grandson from the stroller, or the pram, as the British say, and he's leaning over the edge of the bridge to take a look at the quite full Rio Manzanares River, which hasn't been this full probably in years because we've had so much rain. And here we're coming up on two very ornate statues on the right and on the left of the patron saint. We have San Isidro Labrador, born in 1079, Madrid's patron saint. And if we get a close-up, we can see his son sitting on a well. The water is coming out of the well. You can see it dripping down the side. So one of the many miracles that San Isidro was part of, is that his son was Santa Maria de la Cabeza, who was the mother, who was San Isidro's wife. The son fell into the well, and he prayed to God. San Isidro prayed to God, please God, save my son, please God, save my son. And because San Isidro's faith was so strong, the level of the water rose to the point that he could just take his son out of the water and his life was saved. So that's why he is, in part, that's why he was Saint Santa Maria de la Cabeza, San Isidro's wife. So you see her, and she's missing a hand, and the child next to her is missing its head, it seems to me. But presumably these are very old statues, very degraded, weathered, etc., etc. But it's really pretty with the cross and the crown at the top of this beautiful Baroque structure. Very pretty. Cobblestones. You have to be careful walking across these bridges because a lot of bicycles come zipping by. People riding their bikes down below on the paths, taking an afternoon stroll, walking their dogs. Some people are running. Surely there are children playing. Ah, that's the Arganzuela Bridge. So that goes from Carabanchel to Arganzuela neighborhood, which is a very nice neighborhood. So this is called El Parque de Arganzuela. So on the left hand side of the river, excuse me, which is a very nicely manicured, very nicely designed park, very long. And the neighborhood, of course, is quite, I won't say exclusive, but it's kind of pricey because it's right next to the river and these beautiful gardens. And now it's outside the city center. Well, it's right on the edge of the old city center. So now we're looking back, statues. Okay, there's the Puerta de Toledo looking uphill towards the city center. There's the same boy splashing the puddles. Grandma is saying, hey, here there are some more puddles to splash in. And Grandpa is saying, you're gonna get yourself wet. Grandparents, don't they spoil their grandkids? Of course they do. That's their job. Okay, look at that. Look at these beautifully manicured gardens. So pretty, so well done. Because we've had a lot of rain, things are very green, very, very green. Okay, with the flowers, the shapes of the flowers on the grounds. That's a seminary building, I believe, there on the left. That's a seminary building. So we're coming right to the end of the bridge. Well, we've left the bridge. In fact, now we're on solid ground again. Terra firma. And we're walking towards, okay, so Ferdinand, this is a Ferdinand Street lamp commemorating King Ferdinand VII. So everything in this area in Calle de Toledo is King Ferdinand VII, King Ferdinand VII, King Ferdinand VII. Okay, once again, we're reaching Carabanchel neighborhood, which is a very large district in Madrid. And well, at least in this part of Carabanchel, it's very near the downtown. So you could go from here, from this traffic circle, to the Plaza Mayor in probably 25 minutes or so on foot. These towers are right at the entrance of the Puerta de Toledo. And unfortunately, I don't know their history, but they look as old as the bridge itself. They certainly do. They're quite weathered, but they're very pretty. They're very pretty. Very pretty. So let's go take a quick look at the other one. Let's go a little faster. This woman is looking down at her mobile phone. She didn't even flinch as I walked by her. She wasn't going to look up. Anyway. She was watching a series, surely. All right. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. We are coming up. We're going to turn around. There's them going uphill into the belly of Carabanchel. So here we're going to see the side of the Puente de Toledo. So here we're in the late afternoon. Well, we're in the afternoon. And the sun, it looks like, has gone down now. So very soon, they're going to turn on the lights and illuminate not only the side of the bridge, but also the arches underneath. And it's very pretty. Mommy, mommy. Oh, that's very picturesque. That's a postcard, folks. That's a postcard. Okay. Well, if you made it this long into the video, I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking this end-to-end Calle de Toledo walk with me. I hope you saw some things that maybe you hadn't seen before. Maybe you learned a little bit as well. So I recommend if you do this walk and you get this far in the walk, especially in the bridge or in the Puerta de Toledo, try to do it at sunset because you have the light on the sides of the bridge, this old Baroque bridge, which is really, really picturesque. So I highly recommend it. So please feel free to give me a like, subscribe, share with your friends. Ooh, look at all the water in the river. That's quite a lot. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and well, I hope you come back for the next video. So I am your friendly neighborhood Madrid man saying ciao for now and hasta la próxima.